Hello everyone, welcome back. Welcome freaking back. As you guys can see by the title and the thumbnail of this video, we are talking my favorite book boyfriends of this year so far. Mid-year update, my favorite book boyfriends. So let me just go ahead and say that I have 5 books, but 3 of them come from the same series. So I'm going to start with those ones just because you guys totally know which boys I'm talking about. Yep. It's from the Off-Campus series. The first 3 books, because those are the only ones that I have read so far, because those are the ones that you needed to read to watch the first season. So I have only read the first 3. But talking about book boyfriends, Garrett Graham. Garrett frickin' Graham. I adore him so much. I have like 3 bullet points per boyfriend on why I love them. And the first bullet point that I have for Garrett is special. And what I mean by that is that he has a type of love that is not seen very often. He is someone who has such a specific way of loving people, and we honestly learn that that comes from how he was raised and what had happened in his family. And I find that that makes Garrett such a special significant other because he really does care so deeply. The second point that I have for Garrett is protective, and I think that him being protective isn't necessarily in the I don't want anyone to hurt you way, but it's more or less in the I want you to be confident for yourself. I want you to be able to do these things for yourself, and I want to be the one that protects you while we get you there. Does that make sense? I think that makes sense. And the third point that I have for Garrett is stubborn, and that is not a bad word in this case. Sometimes we hear the word stubborn and we're like, oh, that's like not necessarily a great thing. But in this moment in particular, yes, it is absolutely one of the best cases possible, because had Garrett not been stubborn, he wouldn't have been able to find his Hannah. You know what I mean? He was so stubborn in his love for this girl that he did everything in his power to make it stick. He did stubborn, I guess, is the way that I'm saying it, but really I guess the word that I'm looking for is respectful. But he is just, he doesn't stop. He is very stubborn in his love. The second boy that we are talking about is John Logan, which is from the second Off-Campus book. I love John Logan, but he does have a whole lot going on in his personal life that makes him the way that he is. Him and Garrett both kind of have, I don't want to say similar home lives, but pretty similar home lives. They both kind of are quietly struggling, if that makes sense. So I just truly think that their home lives are honestly what made them who they are, but that's not what we're talking about. John Logan, my first bullet point that I have for John Logan is confident. He exudes confidence, and in him doing that, it kind of seeps into the significant others. So Grace may not have always been a very confident person, but John Logan was able to bring out the confidence in her, if that makes sense. Like, she goes into this not really knowing who she is, but John Logan knows exactly who he is. He knows exactly what he wants, and he's gonna go out and get it. And that confidence kind of bleeds into his significant others. And I think that's a lovely thing to be able to say about someone, is that their confidence helps their significant other. The second bullet point that I have for John Logan is compassionate, or the word that I put down is soft, but not soft in the negative connotation, soft in the he has feelings and he isn't one to put them out on his sleeve all the time, but once he does, he is seriously one of the cuter boyfriends because of him being so soft. The way that he turns into a puddle whenever he is with his girl. And I just think that's such a cute, lovely thing, that John Logan, being this confident, kind of cocky person, he could also be soft. And I think that's such a good quality to have in a man, is their like ability to show emotion. Anyway, the third point that I have for John Logan is witty. I think he is such a funny character, but not funny in the sense of I'm going to make you laugh because that's what I'm here for, but I'm going to make you laugh because I'm just funny. Like, John Logan really is just such a funny person, and I think that him being that way kind of comes from his home life, because they needed to have some comedic relief, and I think John Logan is kind of the comedic relief. The third book boyfriend that I have from the off-campus series is Dean De Laurentiis. Dean De Laurentiis. Oh, buddy. Dean still gives me the butterflies, and I'm like 3 weeks out from reading that book. Anyway, the 3 points that I have for Dean. The first one is funny. He is not necessarily the comedic relief character like John Logan is, but he is such a fun boyfriend. He's willing to try things, he's willing to do things for his significant other to make them happy as well, and that makes him such a fun person. I truly love that part of Dean. The second point that I have for Dean is protective. I know I kind of said protective for Garrett, but Dean is kind of, I don't want to say the same as Garrett, but they are very similar boyfriends, if that makes sense. But he is protective in the way that we kind of see it in the show a little bit, but in the book we see it a lot, of the way that he's kind of like the male friend that literally would go to the ends of the earth to prove that these people are wrong about who you are. I guess protective is not the word I'm looking for Dean. I guess the word I'm looking for is loyal, because he is so loyal to the people in his life. He will not, absolutely will not take slander on their names because of how protective he is. So protective and loyal, I guess you could bundle in the same thing, but I think Dean is such a protective person, and I think that that's exactly what his significant other needs in these books, because truly, without Dean, I don't know if his significant other would have been able to complete what her tasks were in the book, because Dean truly did help her because of his protectiveness, because of his loyalty. And the third point that I have for Dean is attentive. And what I mean by that is that he doesn't really give a damn about what he gets out of something. He's wanting to appease his girl. He sees and knows exactly what she wants, because he's so attentive to her needs, that whenever they are, doing the dirt, they don't even need words, because Dean is so locked in with her because of how attentive. But because of how much Dean pays attention. And I think that that is such a underrated quality in a person, but something that needs to be there, because you shouldn't have to consistently say, hey, I need you to do this, or hey, I want you to do that. It should genuinely be that your partner knows what you want. They know what you need. They don't have to ask what you order at the coffee shop because they know. You know what I mean? Those are the boys from the Off-Campus series that I have read so far. So now we are going to get into our other two boys. So, Hudson Ellis from Variation by Rebecca Yarros. I think Hudson is honestly a character that is quietly in my head at all times. He's one that I've not really been able to stop thinking about, but I don't even know I'm thinking about him until I sit down and I'm like, oh, I was thinking about that book again. Hudson has very special qualities to him that make him such a good book boyfriend, but the first point that I have for him is patient, because we see it in the book. Allie really struggles, and she's not patient with herself. And I think that whenever a significant other doesn't have such a strong quality, the other partner should kind of fill that with their qualities, if that makes sense. So Allie's not a very patient person, but Hudson is. Hudson is so patient because he's waiting for her to tell him what she needs. He's not going out of his way to do something for her. He's waiting for her to tell him what she needs. The second point that I have for Hudson is understanding, and that kind of bleeds into the first point that I have for him, because with his patience, he's able to understand who Allie is better, and I think that those two qualities together make the perfect book boyfriend, because honestly, you need those 2 points to work in tandem, because without those working in tandem, you can't be a very good significant other. You need to be patient and you need to be understanding, and without those 2 points, really, do you even know your significant other? You know what I mean? The third point that I have for Hudson is protective, and that bleeds into who he is as a person. He is a Coast Guard. He works for the Coast Guard, so he already exudes protectiveness, because that is kind of his job. His job is to protect people. And that's kind of, I mean, honestly, Hudson's just such a great character. I don't think I need to talk too much more about him, or I will literally spend the entire video talking about one boy. And the last boy that I will give you for my mid-year update on my book boyfriends is Levi Coldwell from Picking Daisies on Sundays. We don't really meet Levi too much in that book, because it's kind of basically, it's in the point of view of our main female, so we don't really get to see Levi very much. But what we do get to see of Levi, he is such a gentle person. I mean gentle in the way that this is not the way that I want to put it, but it's the way that my brain is formulating a sentence. He doesn't have toxic masculinity, if that makes sense. Like, he kind of, it seems like he grew up with sisters, you know what I mean? Like, he just has a gentle side to him, and I think that that makes him such a beautiful character. Levi's so quietly beautiful, quietly wonderful, quietly one of the best boyfriends that I could have read about. The second point that I have for Levi is poetic, and I don't want to dive too much into that because I don't want to spoil the book for people, but the way that Levi is poetic is in the way that he loves. He kind of reminds me of like a Shakespearean man, you know what I mean? Like, he just feels like everything he does is eloquent with a pinky up, and I don't know, I love that poetic quality to Levi. And the last thing that I have for Levi is loyal, because I mean, honestly, he is such a loyal character, because he's just there for everyone. He's someone who would give you the shirt off of his back without questions asked. And I love that about Levi. Those are my book boyfriends. I'll go through them again. The first book boyfriend, Garrett Graham. The second book boyfriend, John Logan. The third book boyfriend, Dean De Laurentiis. The fourth book boyfriend is Hudson Ellis. And the fifth book boyfriend is Levi Coldwell. I have been reading some fantastic books, and it was kind of hard to like narrow down my favorite book boyfriends, but as I sat here and really thought about it more and more and more, these are really my top 5. I couldn't think of any better book boyfriends than these top 5. I know I'm still reading the off-campus series, so there's definitely going to be a few more men added to this list by the end of the year, but as of right now, I could not have put anyone different in my top 5. These are the perfect book boyfriends. They are patient, they're kind, they're respectful, they honestly just love women. It's not that they love women in the sense of they're hot, it's they just truly love women. They respect women. They want to be in the same room as a woman, and I just find that to be an amazing quality in men. But those are my top 5 book boyfriends for the year so far. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. If you did, make sure you give it a thumbs up. Make sure you leave a comment downstairs. Make sure you subscribe. And I'll see you guys in the next one.